Hi, I'm Kimmy with On William Street, and we are here to help you become a more confident quilter, from the piecing to the quilting and everything in between. So this week we are working on month 9 of our annual quilt along. So don't forget, all the information that we're going to talk about today can be found in a blog post, and we link that below. And so that blog post has diagrams, has printouts that you can print of the quilting plan, so you don't have to try to remember it on the video. You can print that out to have to look at and to go over. You can also try sketching it. You can also print out a blank block so that you can doodle out the quilting plan a few times first to get more comfortable with it, and a lot of other information over there. So don't forget to go over there and check that out. Also, while you're there, check out our shop so you can find your next modern quilting project. So now we have the quilting plan for block 9, and none of these should be new. They should all be familiar to you. We're just working on combining them in different ways. So what we have first is we do have our intersection, and we're doing some straight lines here to counteract against all the swirls out here. So we're going to come in here along an edge and just down in, and we're actually going to go all the way around the outside first and then come in and do the inside. And then from there, we'll fill in this whole section with swirls that we've already done, but I'll go ahead and show you how to do that again on the sewing machine when we're finished. And then we're going to come out, and just like we did last month, we're going to kind of do the triangles with the border sections because of the way that they're set up. So we'll come out and do these funky flowers. These are really the same petal shape on the flower we did a couple months ago. So just come out and just space them in here. This one you might do like 3 bumps on it to make it feel that point. And then we're going to come in here and go 1, 2, 3 with the straight lines, one close to each edge and one down the middle. And then we're positioned to come in and do our next funky flower. Come up along the top. We do need to go down to a corner here, so we're going to go down on the edge, do a swirl, swirl right back out, come down along the edge around here, and then we'll do 1, 2, 3 lines. And again, like we did last month with this outside border, I'll probably mark these. And these lines here. I'm not going to worry about marking these ones because those are pretty easy to eyeball. But these 2 sections, I'll go ahead and mark them. And then we'll come along the edge, grab our 2 outside triangles over and down here, ready to do our next flower. 5 petals, 1, 2, 3. Do this funky feather along the edge, swirl along the edge, 1, 2, 3. And then again, working our way around the block. So let's go ahead and mark this one out. So the only things that I'm really worried about marking, so I'm going to go ahead and mark in here, and we're just going to do in 1/4 inch. And as I roll it around, you'll be able to see that I can just do both sides at once. Get them all in there. And then from there, go in about 1/2 inch for the next line. You could eyeball this as well if you didn't really care to mark it out and have it be even, but I want to make sure that you guys, we're going in 1/2 inch from the line I marked in case that wasn't clear. I want to make sure you guys have kind of tips and tricks and methods to do whatever you want, and sometimes you just need more precision, so that's why we're going to practice marking out on some of them. And then on the outside, the same thing. I want to go in 1/2 inch from the edge to make sure that I don't go into the seam that's going to be covered up. And then we're going to come in just right along that edge, similar to what we did last month with the border that we created. This one we're just going to fill with another line halfway down the middle, as opposed to ribbon candies. And we'll let the swirls be the main motif there, and the flowers. And then just come down halfway down the center. And I'm just going to eyeball it, but because I'm drawing that line, they'll connect and no one will really be able to tell if it's a tiny bit off. And then the last one we need is in here. So I'm going to go in about a ½ inch from that line. Oh, we can actually do both sides. If you see, you can cut across and do both of those, just like we did last time. Cut across from there and there. I'm always for things that make less moving around complications. And then from there, let's just go in about a ½ inch from that line. Do one more set. And then we'll know exactly where we're stitching and not have to guess later on. So everything is all marked out and we're ready to start quilting. All right, so I've gone ahead and pulled up my bottom thread and taken a couple of small stitches to get started, and we're ready to go ahead and start quilting. Originally, I said I'm going to do all the little ones and then all the outside ones, but I don't think I need to do that. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do them together. And we'll just do a little bit of traveling as we move around. So I'm going to do the inside one, and then just travel along the edge of the seam there. Now do the outside or the bigger one. Now from here, it's going to go up around the corner. And I'm just going to start with the outside one here, whatever one I get to first. Then we'll work up to the inside one. Now from here I'm going to have a little bit more traveling to do, but we're just going to keep going down along the side all the way around the corner. And ready to do the next one. All right, so now I'm done with all four, and from here I can go ahead and just start the swirls. I don't need to move to a specific spot. We can just start doing them from here. So remember, we're going to swirl out and then back over, and then we're going to put off a closing loop to kind of close that swirl off. And I'm going to keep going with that back and forth swirl motion until I fill in that whole outer white border. Now that we have all of our swirls filled in, we're ready to move out to the corner units. And so we're going to go ahead and just move out to the center of our triangle block here. So I'm going to go up the edge wherever I ended and then just down that seam. And this is where we're going to put those little funky petals in. Like I said, you can do this as a feather, you can do them as flowers. They're really a fun little versatile shape. So we're going to go ahead. And then from there, we're going to do our straight lines in the bar. So I'm just going to do one on each side and one down the center. And I'm going to use my foot to go along the edge to be the spacing from how far apart from the edge I want it. And then to mark that center, I'm just going from the seam here to the seam on this other side. Then I'm going to go back down to the center and do my little funky flower in the other shape. Now from here, we're ready to go out and do the small outer triangle and put the swirl in that. Remember, on this one, we have to go out to the outer corner. We can't start from the point touching. So I'm just going to swirl in, do a nice swirl, and then swirl right back out to the other side. And now I'm ready to go ahead and do the outside border. So it's just going to be 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to start on the inside and work my way out along those marked lines. And from here, we're just going to go up along the edge to my outlines in those triangles. And then just continue down along the edge, making sure to keep that nice and close so that it's hidden when we connect them. I'm going to work back down to the center of that triangle. Now I'm back to where I started and ready to go ahead and finish out this corner and then work my way around and do the rest of the corners. Now we are done with block 9 and we are ready to put them together. I am not going to do a separate video this time now that we have blocks 7, 8, and 9 done, because it is going to be exactly the same as putting blocks 4, 5, and 6 together. So block 7, you're going to do the exact as block 4 with one side with that 1 3/4 inches and then the 3 sides with 1 inch. Block 8 will have just 1 inch trimmed all the way around the outside to match block 5. And then of course block 9 will be the same as block 6 with the outside edge, the 1 3/4, and then the inside edge is the 1 inch. So you can go ahead and pull up those directions last month, follow through them to get this row put together and added on with the sashing and everything so that we're ready to come back and finish out those last 3 blocks. I really hope as we're going through these motifs and practicing these different designs that you're seeing just how versatile they can be. You don't need to know tons and tons of quilting motifs in order to be a successful quilter. I really probably have less than a dozen that I use regularly, and I just mix them up in different ways and put them together, and they really can do a lot of different things on a lot of different quilts. So I recommend getting really good at a handful of motifs, getting very confident in those, and then go ahead and you can mix in other ones here or there, but you'll always feel confident and comfortable finishing out your quilts with those motifs that you know really well. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. You can also find all the information in the blog, and I will put the measurements for the trimming in this month's blog post as well. So you can have that as you're putting that row together. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our shop, see what you can find, and we'll see you next time.